Alright guys, it's time for more Theater of the Mind, because this is how my Superman fight against Zod goes in my DC cinematic universe. All 7 Kryptonians are in Antarctica. Zod, Ursa, Non, Kara, and the kidnapped infant Jonathan Kent in Zod's arms hover above the Fortress of Solitude, with Superboy and Superman on the ground before them. Zod's just finished his big evil speech, and he presents Superman with a choice. Defy him and his infant son would be killed. Or Zod would have the mercy to raise the half-breed as his own child if Superman simply kneels before Zod. And Superman says to him, even though you 3 have all of your Kryptonian abilities, I have trained with them for nearly 30 years. If we fought, I would win. But you are right. You have my son. And I cannot fight you if it puts his life in danger. And then we watch as Clark Kent kneels before Zod. Zod lets out a smile and doesn't notice as Clark presses a finger to his ear where we see a Justice League earpiece, and Clark says, "Now, Barry." We cut to Central City and we see Barry Allen eating a chili dog. Yes, that's the Sonic the Hedgehog reference. He hears that shit on his mic and he knows it's go time. We get a POV shot of him running all the way to Antarctica, where we see him run behind Clark, using the kneeling Clark as a ramp to run up, jump through the air, grab the infant Jonathan out of Zod's hands, land on top of the Fortress of Solitude, and then sprint away back to Metropolis, delivering John safely into Lois's arms. We then cut back to Antarctica just to see the look of shock on Zod's face as he doesn't know what the fuck is going on, and before he even sees anything, fucking speed blitzing right in front of him is a Superman angrier than we have ever seen, and he fucking uppercuts Zod into the stratosphere. We then cut to shots all around the world of different people watching as little earthquake tremors happen. Like, think the Jurassic Park water thing when the T-Rex was walking. That around the world at the force of this one punch. None of the other Kryptonians have any time to react before Superman has already speed blitzed to the top and kicks Zod directly down into the earth. Zod lands in the snow, creating a huge crater, and then Superman lands on top of him, feet first, like flying down in a direct kick. And then we see Ursa speeding right up, about to deliver a haymaker to Superman, and Superman just fucking sidesteps, grabs her hand, and then uses her to hit Zod deeper into the ground. Superman then throws Ursa back up into the air and continues his assault on Zod as he just keeps making this crater even bigger. Now, Kara, this whole time, Zod's evil speech that he did before this fight broke out was like the breaking point for her, where she realized, oh, this is actually the very evil man, and these two are the good guys. So as Ursa spirals off into the sky, catches herself, and tries to go back into the fight, Kara steps in and starts fighting Ursa. So now it's an even 3-on-3 battle between all the Kryptonians. As Superman is pummeling Zod, Zod's brain starts to sort of catch up to what's happening, and Zod starts fighting back. He punches Superman off of him, sends him into the sky, flies after him, and we get an exact recreation, as close as I can get. You know the opening song to the final opening sequence of Dragon Ball Super, where it's Goku and Jiren just dun-dun, 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 that thing? We're just gonna get that shot-for-shot remade here, because yeah, dude, I fucking love Dragon Ball. I'm gonna throw in some references here. Zod punches Superman through like a mountain in Antarctica. Superman punches Zod through it. Think the fucking Broly fights in Dragon Ball Super Broly. That's what we're fucking getting here. Now, Kara, sadly, is gonna be getting pretty outclassed by Ursa, because remember, those two have had powers for just about the same amount of time, only Ursa is actually a trained fighter. So that's the fight where Ursa would be winning, but that's when Superman steps in to save his cousin from Ursa. And that's when we just get like a quick little talk between the two while fighting of just, why are you helping me after I sided with them? And Superman's like, because it's the right thing to do. And then he just goes right back fucking into the fight, just beating the shit out of these guys. We would get some fucking awesome combo shots of Connor and Superman just like expertly in sync tag team whooping the shit out of Non. Non would be a bruiser. He'd be stronger than these two, but slower. So these two would just be bobbing and weaving around his punches, and then they would do a simultaneous, both of them uppercut to like his gut, sending him up into the air. As Non is flying upward, Superman would fly up after him to keep beating him up, as Connor would switch and go for Ursa. And then Zod would sprint at Superman, heading towards his back, but just before he winds back and delivers a punch to Superman, Superman just disappears, and Zod completes the punch on Non. And then Superman appears behind Zod and just chops him in the back of the neck, again sending him flying through the air. As Zod regains his composure and flies at Superman, Superman uses his heat vision to instantly vaporize some ice, sending up a large jet of steam in Zod's face, and Zod can't see shit. And then Superman bursts through the steam, punching Zod out of it, probably into the side of another mountain. Zod then, as Superman is flying towards him, decides, tit for tat, motherfucker, and he lasers the ground to release a big jet of steam. But then we see a POV shot from Superman as he switches to X-ray vision, sees Zod in the steam, and just plows right through, punching Zod through the mountain again. And then boom, we cut inside the Fortress of Solitude. Who's in the Fortress of Solitude? It's Barry Allen again, and he's zipping around trying to find the Phantom Zone projector. Barry runs back outside and messages on his Justice League earpiece to Clark, "I got it." And Superman says, "Then do it." Barry Allen pulls the trigger and opens a portal to the Phantom Zone again. And Clark yells out to Connor and Kara, "Push them back into the zone." Kryptonians all continue their fights, and Kara is the first one to win hers. She manages to get a good punch off on Ursa before grabbing Ursa by the leg, spinning super fast and sending Ursa flying back through the portal into the Phantom Zone. Connor is next up against Non. They fight back and forth, and Connor decides to fight a little dirty. He lasers Non right in the eyes, temporarily blinding him. And then Connor delivers a swift roundhouse kick right into the ribs of Non, sending him to the portal. But Non physically grabs on to like the outer projection of this portal. Non is so physically strong, he is somehow managing to physically hold on to this metaphysical rift between dimensions. Zod does his last minute evil rant, "You fight against your own people." And Superman just says, "Humans are my people." And Superman flies towards Zod, winds back, and punches Zod, creating a huge shockwave. The camera cuts back into space, and we see the clouds over Antarctica part, like over half of the world. The clouds just gone. And then we cut back to all of those people with the reaction shots from before, from when they punched, the little tremors, you know, and we see huge tremors. The punch that this dude just delivered there, literally global earthquake. And Zod is thrown into Non, and both of them plummet back into the Phantom Zone from whence they came, and Barry Allen shuts the projector down. And so, the three evil Kryptonians return to the Phantom Zone. Kara tries to accept the fact that these two are her last remaining living relatives, and she begins therapy. And Superman returns home to his wife and his son to look at his baby boy, the future of Krypton.